As expected, DoorDash, similar to Uber Eats about almost 2 months ago, made another change to how you're going to earn money on the platform. Let me just get right into it. At first, in December, DoorDash, you know, New York was giving these companies, the gig companies, two options. An alternative option, which was the $29 an hour, and the city limit, which is basically around 18 an hour. All the companies at first chose the alternate $29.93 an hour, but Uber Eats was the first company to change and adapt to the standard method. That's what I meant to say the first time. The standard method is the second option, which is the city minimum of 17.96 an hour, almost 18 an hour. So yeah, first Uber Eats did it. Now DoorDash is doing it, and I'm expecting Grubhub to be next because all these apps like to follow each other. First one, you know how it is. Once one app does it, then the next app is going to do it, obviously. So yeah, beginning March 4th. It says beginning March 4th, we will move to the standard method, meaning that Dashers will make $17.96 an hour of active time before tips and can also qualify for the additional weekly pay adjustments. In compliance with the new minimum pay rules, this active time rate will soon be increasing further to $96.56 on April 1st. See, I didn't know anything about that. So they're basically increasing the minimum. Okay, that's a decent thing. That's good, but I wish before I continue, let me just say this. I wish these companies would just stick to one method and stop changing things. That's what I wish. Like the $29.93 an hour, the the alternate was the best because it's first and foremost the pay rate only pay you for active time, meaning the time you accept an order and complete it. It's not when the app is on. So that's one hit as it is. So the 29 was great because for the time that you're not getting deliveries, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously when you're on a delivery and you do an hour worth of work, you're getting the almost double the New York's minimum wage, which was good. You know what I'm saying? So by you lowering this thing now, you're kind of making it a little bit more difficult for people to make money. And now it's going to result to people, multi-apping or and multi-apping is probably a little bit more difficult to do now with all these regulations on how much people could be on the road now. But still, you can still multi-app. It's going to result in things like that, or it's going to result into people doing what they used to do before these rules took place to begin with, which is a lot of dashers and a lot of couriers just skipping out on certain orders, like declining a lot of orders and taking the highest paying order or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be back to that again, and stuff like that. However, um I don't know. We'll see, but I see something that is saying that they're gonna give you 17.96 an hour plus pay adjustments. Like they're gonna be doing some sort of program or whatever. Whereas they're gonna give you an opportunity to make more than that, depending on how much you're working. And I'm gonna get. Matter of fact, here it is right here. I'm gonna get into it. This priority platform access NYC Dash is based on New York City rewards program. As it says here, it says we want to reward dashers who are working the hardest, which is why we're introducing a new program to support those who accept and complete the most offers and provide high quality service to customers and merchants. That sounds good. However, as a matter of fact, I forgot to mention this. On the Dasher app, it did say that in New York City they are going to get rid of the Top Dasher program. And for those of you who do not know what the Top Dasher program is, Top Dasher is a program whereas if once you get it, you're able to dash 24/7 regardless whether or not you have the schedule or not. But they're eliminating that in New York City based on the regulations and all this other stuff that's going on. And they're replacing the Top Dasher program with the platform access, the priority platform access in New York City. We'll see how that goes. But Top Dasher was pretty good. It was hard to get, but once you get it, it was actually pretty good. I used to have it a couple of times. About 2 years ago, I stay had Top Dasher for every month. And the way you get Top Dasher, for those of you who don't know, is you have to have at least a 70% completion percentage. I mean, not acceptance rate. A 70% acceptance rate. Your completion percentage has to be had to be at least 95%, and your customer rating had to be at least 4.7. You had to manage that every month to keep your Top Dasher status. And like I said, it was not the easiest thing to do sometimes, but once you did it, it was actually worth it. But like I said, New York is removing that and replacing it with this program here, and supposedly it's supposed to be for the people that's working the hardest, but we'll see about that. Let me just continue reading though. It said, where did I leave off again? I'll just start it over. We want to reward Dashers who are working the hardest, which is why we're introducing a new program to support those who accept and complete the most offers and provide high quality service to customers and merchants. Through this Dasher Rewards program, qualifying Dashers will receive early access to scheduling when they want to dash, be eligible to qualify for priority access and get on the road immediately, and have the opportunity to receive weekly bonus rewards. We know Dashers highly value flexibility, and we are disappointed that these changes will result in less flexibility and fewer earning opportunities for many Dashers. Simply put, many Dashers will no longer be able to work whenever they like and end up earning less money as a result. However, the city acknowledged that platforms like ours will be left with no choice but to make changes to make dashing less flexible and force us to begin restricting where and when New Yorkers can choose to dash. We expect that there will be further changes as such an extreme minimum pay rule weighs heavily on everyone who uses our platform across the 5 boroughs. We hope that we can find a path forward that allows us to continue to best serve the communities across New York City. So, yeah, I mean, New York City since January the 1st, they had a rule that, they want to restrict how much people can be on the road for all the apps, not just DoorDash, all the gig apps. So, I guess DoorDash is now enforcing that a little bit more and stuff like that because they wasn't really enforcing it before because they still had the Top Dasher program, like I said, but now they're getting rid of it. So, yeah, I mean, there's pros and there's cons to this type of thing. The pros to this is obviously like when you're on the schedule, you're probably gonna have more orders now because of the fact that there's gonna be limits to how much people could be on the road. But the cons is that it's gonna be difficult. I mean, it's already difficult since January 1st to get schedules on DoorDash. So the cons will be is that it's gonna be more difficult to get schedules, and obviously there's no flexibility anymore. You just can't, turn your app on whenever you feel like it if you have Top Dasher and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the con. Like there's less flexibility, and it's going to be more competition type stuff. At the same time, there's going to be less competition once you get a schedule because you're going to get more orders when you're on the schedule. And if you're working hard, the harder you work, the more incentives I guess you're going to get. So that's the pros. But like I always say, everybody is people just gonna make their adjustments to how things are going. That's the way life is. Like whenever there's change, people adapt. They make their adjustments, and they're still gonna make their money. So it is what it is. But I just wish that these platforms and these cities like New York would just stick to one method and stop changing things, especially stop changing things so quick because the new pay thing with the $29 and all of that, it started in January and it ended in January, and then they adding this stuff in February, March. It's like people didn't even get a whole damn month to adapt to the new methods, and now you're making another method. So that's like it's too much change going on. But you know what? Before I end the video, I will say this. I will say this. None of this will even be happening in the first place if these gig apps like Uber Eats and DoorDash and Grubhub, etc., 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 would have just paid the drivers what they deserve in the first place. It would have never resulted in anything legal, any legal issues in regards to, you know, workers' rights and the pay rates or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If these companies were just paying the drivers the money that they should have been earning and stuff like that, and it wasn't scamming, then there would be no issues with the courts and none of this stuff. But this is what it's come down to. You know what I'm saying? All this changed, but we'll see how it goes. And that's all I have to say about this topic for now. Stay tuned for any future videos that I may decide to make on this topic if there's any new news available.